Again for joining us here tonight. I hope you enjoy breakfast for dinner. I definitely feel like when I was growing up, this is what I looked forward to as a child. Mom saying pancakes for dinner. It made me so happy. Again, I want to say a good evening and welcome to each and every one of you to NAMI Nevada's Drive to Thrive 2023 Breakfast for Dinner event. Again, my name is Connie Ray, and I'm honored to be your MC this evening. I'm not only excited because I do love breakfast for dinner, but also because mental illness has profoundly impacted my life. It is time for us to bring mental health out of the closet and stop hiding. By destigmatizing mental health, we can address the challenges that our communities face, and we must find compassionate ways to support individuals living with mental health conditions because doing nothing will have dramatic economic and spiritual impacts on our communities. I believe that each one of us in this room have been touched by mental health in some way. And perhaps we didn't fully understand what it was at that time, but we knew something wasn't right. Let me share a personal story about my 44-year-old brother, Donnie. Donnie was adopted at just 6 months old after his birth parents, who were both alcoholics, severely abused and neglected him. My parents, who were new foster parents at the time, arrived to pick up this first infant to temporarily care for him with such vigor and excitement. His name back then, before he was adopted, was Sammy. Sammy had just had his cast removed from his leg and still had a cast on his left arm. You can only imagine the shock on my mother's face when she first saw him. I could see her fighting back tears, trying to hold herself together. That night, when we arrived home with this sweet pumpkin-faced little boy, we immediately fell in love with him, and we didn't even want to lay him down to go to sleep for bedtime that night. But that night was just the beginning of our understanding the effects of trauma and alcoholism. My brother struggled with fetal alcohol syndrome. From the very first night when my mother rushed in after hearing him repeatedly banging his head on a crib mattress, which we later coined bonking, to his arrest on the day that I graduated from college due to severe alcohol addiction that had gripped him. Trauma and mental health became a part of our lives. I consider myself very lucky to stand here tonight and tell you that my brother is alive. He is in recovery. However, the impact of fetal alcohol syndrome is something that faces him every day. The struggle to find resources, the challenges to manage his medications. He has been at a housing waiting list in the state of Washington for 27 years. Thankfully, he has my mother as his advocate, but we know that that is not the case for so many others. In Nevada, 474,000 adults live with a mental health condition. That's more than 8 times the population of Carson City. Nevadans are struggling to access the mental health care that they need and deserve. Of the 164,000 Nevadans who did not receive mental health care, 51% of them say that their primary reason is cost. So what is NAMI Nevada and its partners doing to help more Nevadans access the mental health care resources they need? Tonight, you are about to find out. Throughout the evening, you will also have an opportunity to support NAMI Nevada and its efforts. The money raised here this evening will allow NAMI and NAMI Western Nevada to continue the Teen Support Text Line and NAMI Nevada Warm Line, which you will learn more about this evening. Programs that are providing much needed peer-to-peer support for many who are facing a mental health crisis. I wanted to mention a QR code that is on your table right now for donations. And of course, if you are not watching us on the stream, you have an opportunity to purchase raffle tickets all the way up pretty much to the very end this evening. And we do have some wonderful raffle items. Lunch for 2 at Nothing To It, a Glow Beauty Bar MD basket and gift certificate, as self-care is so important. And also a wonderful getaway to the Cider Factory restaurant in Virginia City, just to name a few. If you are streaming us this evening, we also have an opportunity for you to donate via that QR code that's right there on your screen. After tonight's program, please visit NAMI Nevada's website at naminv.org. You can learn more about how you too can be a part of destigmatizing mental health. You yourself can be an advocate. If you are joining us tonight, please, if you are on Facebook, LinkedIn, or YouTube, please share. Sharing the stream and consider donating. We want as many people to understand what we are doing here tonight. Let's erase discrimination against mental illness. Let's give others and ourselves the drive to thrive. Right now, I would like to begin our mental health awareness journey this evening by welcoming to the stage the Executive Director of NAMI Nevada, Robin Reedy, along with the NAMI Board President and Vice President of the Stacy Mathewson Behavioral Health and Addiction Institute at Renown Health, Steve Schell.
Hi. So while we get the other mic set up, I want to thank everyone here. How does everyone like breakfast for dinner? And no one can complain about dessert first, right? Okay. We wanted to do something like that just because expectations, we have these expectations of what things are. And in the mental health community, those expectations aren't met. Creates problems, creates discomfort. And we want you to know that that's how people with mental health issues feel. So we're going to be talking about legislation right now. I'd like to personally thank Bell's Case and their team for the work they've done this last session. Can I get you guys to stand? Trying to keep me organized is a job for Jesus. Thank you. I also want to personally thank Abby and her mother, Erica, for all the work they did in testimony to get bills to pass. You can actually stand. I know you're not that shy. I've seen you testify. And we will be thanking the Senator Marilyn Dondero Loop later on with our NAMI Hero Award for carrying the bills that passed. 167 and 177 changed how medication is delivered in Nevada. And it's amazing that we got 2 bills passed in the medication field. We worked very hard. And if you don't know about step therapy can be where a doctor and the insurance company decides what you're prescribed. And if that doesn't work, they can go to the next one, and they can go to the next one. And you could go 2 years going through medications. In the state of Nevada now, you get 1 chance to do that from the formulary, both in Medicaid and on regular insurance. 1 chance, and then you go to what the doctor wants to prescribe. So that's what our lobbying team did. That's what our people who testified in every hearing, and that's what Senator Marilyn Dondero Loop did for us in standing firm on all the rules and policies with regard to those bills. So thank you. So Steve Schell is going to talk about law advocacy and legislation that the policy boards did.
Good evening. Welcome to Drive to Thrive. It warms my heart to see so many of you here to support such a wonderful organization like NAMI Nevada that represents our entire state. During my 13 years in Nevada, I have never seen more support for mental health than now. I am incredibly honored to serve as NAMI Nevada's board president and work with an esteemed board of directors and a phenomenal executive director. Yes, thank you to you, Barry, as well. I am also proud to say that I have been volunteering with NAMI for over 30 years since I was first introduced to NAMI in Memphis, Tennessee by a great gentleman named Sam Cochran. As a side note, I worked very closely with Sam, who was a NAMI trailblazer and created the first crisis intervention team in the country, otherwise known as CIT, that has become the national model for law enforcement around the country, including Nevada. For those of you that may not know, NAMI Nevada is a statewide organization, and we have affiliate offices in Las Vegas, Carson City, Reno, and now Elko that are committed to advocating for mental illness and improving the lives of all Nevada residents. I am inspired by the great work of our dedicated staff, board of directors, and volunteers who stand ready every day to help end the stigma surrounding mental illness. I would like to first recognize, again, Executive Director Robin Reedy and all of the NAMI Nevada staff and volunteers who helped make this event a success and who work tirelessly every day on behalf of our state to advocate for mental health and addiction. Please give them a huge round of applause. I also didn't mention Western Nevada and Carson City, so that's also one of our affiliate offices. So I apologize for that. Thank you, Robin. How could I not mention Western Nevada?
They're just the whole rest of the
Yeah, they make up for the whole state. Next, I would like to recognize my fellow board members who dedicate their time and energy to increasing mental health awareness throughout our state. I'd like for them to stand, if possible. I know we have Tom McCourt here this evening, Tom Durante, Mr. Bob Seal. Where is Bob? Rick Porzik. There's Bob in the background. I'm not sure if we have anyone else. Really appreciate Tom McCourt coming up from Las Vegas, so thank you. So let's give our board of directors a huge round of applause. Next, I would like to recognize our amazing MC this evening, Connie Ray, who has become a strong ally for mental health, and we can't thank her enough. And last but not least, let's give a huge round of applause to the Grand Sierra staff who are taking great care of us this evening. The number of Nevada residents impacted by mental illness continues to increase at an alarming rate, and the percentage of those with co-occurring substance use disorders is at an all-time high. Mental health and addiction issues for all ages remain a key focus for our elected officials and community partners around the state as we all work towards finding solutions to help individuals receive the quality treatment and ongoing support they need and deserve. As another Nevada legislative session came to an end earlier this month, we were able to achieve some wins regarding funding, programming, and workforce development. I am very excited about AB 37 that was introduced by the Rural Regional Behavioral Health Policy Board. The bill that was passed by both houses and signed by Governor Lombardo will create a statewide behavioral health workforce development center within the Nevada system of higher education to help recruit and train behavioral health providers, starting at the high school level and continuing through licensure. This bill was based on a successful model in Nebraska that we believe will have a tremendous long-term impact on Nevada to cultivate more behavioral health professionals that we severely need. Our work to improve access to care, increase supportive housing, and maintain necessary funding is far from over, as we will remain relentless in our pursuit of the legislative bills that did not pass this year and hopefully find support in the 2025 legislative session. And again, we cannot thank Senator Dondero Loop enough for all of her efforts in getting a lot of these bills passed. So thank you again, Senator. Now I will turn it back to our incredible leader, Robin Reedy.
I'm going to get a big head. I want to introduce you to what we're going to be seeing. Our next film is going to be from Dr. Duckworth. For those of you who don't know, we originally had this planned in March, and then we had the blizzard of 23 and ended up canceling. So we were able to get a video from Dr. Duckworth. He has been working for NAMI for years, and he has been on all the morning shows talking about his book. So please look at the video from Dr. Duckworth.
Hello, NAMI Nevada. Nevada? It's a good question. Not up on that, and forgive me if I've said it wrong. My name's Ken Duckworth. I'm very fortunate to be your Chief Medical Officer. I want to thank you for everything you do in support, advocacy, and education in your state. I want to tell you a little bit about NAMI's first book, which I was honored to write. You Are Not Alone is our first book. And I really wanted NAMI to have a book because I really believe that lived experience is expertise. In my field, I'm a psychiatrist, has failed to recognize the fact that if you've lived with a mental health condition for a number of years, you've learned something. And if you've loved someone with a mental health condition, you too have learned something. I have 130 experts in the book who share what they've learned. They use their names and identify where they're from. The whole point of the book is not to have the doctor have all the answers and to use fake composite people who remain confidential. There's real people all across our community that have learned things from living with conditions, and so have their families. That's the essence of the book. I also asked America's leading researchers common questions that I get and have them answer these questions in 500 words in simple language. Do I really have to take these meds forever? What do I do if I can't get my family member to seek help? These are the questions that people ask me. So I just went to the leading person in the country who's done the most traditional research. So this book is a both-and book. Lived experience is expertise, and traditional researchers have expertise. The book is both-and. The best of the memoir and the best of the textbook. You Are Not Alone is owned. The copyright is owned by NAMI National. All the royalties come back to NAMI. You might have noticed that NAMI National is not charging any of the states or local affiliates for NAMI walks. That's a gift to the field for their support of our first book. That came from our CEO, Dan Gillison, and it's in recognition of the fact that we hope you promote the book, sell the book, and encourage people to learn about NAMI. So many people have told me if they knew about NAMI earlier, it would have made a difference in their family, in the quality of their relationships. That's one of the reasons I wanted to write the book. It's a kind of advocacy. There's a lot of advocacy needs in our field, but the book is a different kind of advocacy. And there's chapters on how individuals become advocates and how families become advocates. We have a mental health system that needs a lot of work, and NAMI advocacy has done a lot of the good, from mental health parity to the development of the early psychosis model across the country, most recently to 988. And I want to thank you for the advocacy work that you're doing. I want to thank you for your interest in our book, You Are Not Alone. They're behind me. Oh, I have a better look at it. Here's what the cover looks like. I asked our publishers, Zando Projects, for a journey. The idea that the book represents mental health is an ongoing process. So at a future time, I'd be happy to do a webinar with NAMI Nevada with people from the book, if that's of interest to you, if you want to meet some of the people. After you've read the book, I'm doing virtual conversations all across the country. I want to thank you for everything you do for NAMI, everything you do for our shared mission. And I want to say, I'm sorry I couldn't be there in person, but I'm delighted to be able to talk to you. And I want to thank you for your support of NAMI and our first book. Take good care.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Dr. Duckworth. More statistics. 6,900 people in Nevada are homeless. 1 in 3 live with a serious mental illness. How do we find better resources? Through advocacy. NAMI Nevada has many heroes fighting for these resources. And right now, I'd like to welcome Robin Reedy back to the stage to introduce you to our NAMI Nevada heroes.
It's been about 5 years that I've been in this job, and in those 5 years, we've nominated a few heroes. We've never had 3 in 1 year. I will tell you, after our previous to this last legislative session, I was absolutely thrilled that we passed 988 and a revenue stream to go along with it. I don't know that I could have been happier that we actually did that in the state of Nevada. My background is in government finance, and I've dealt with the legislature for decades. And to get that passed was so exciting. This year, they tried to change that a little bit, and we were able to make sure that that stayed in place. But we got 2 of the medication bills passed. That's because of some great advisors that we have through Bell's case, but it's also through the political will of one person willing to take on pretty much every large corporate area that goes against it, convincing people that if you get the right medicine, no matter what the price of that medicine, you save money in the long run. Because you don't have crisis intervention. You don't have people utilizing emergency rooms. You don't have people getting into detention facilitators and arrested. That saves a ton of money in government. So if you spend a little money up front, you're going to save a lot of money behind. That's a hard concept to convince politicians. And I would say the senator is not one of your average politicians. I would like to personally thank, you are a Nevada hero. Thank you, Senator MDL, because that's what we don't spell out your name in our emails. Please come up and accept a Nevada Hero Award.
Good evening. So happy to be here. I'm a born and raised Las Vegas girl, but I have family all over the state. My dad was from Hawthorne, so I've traveled this state. And one thing I can say about Nevada is resilience. And when we are in Nevada, we do what's right for Nevadans. And that's what I do when I go to the legislature. One of the things that I think that I thought when Jeanette and I talked about this bill to begin with was, and it's something I say at the legislature often, until it's you. So, homelessness, mental health, guns, I don't care what the issue is. People want to talk over here until it's you. And that's how I truly feel about mental health. So many families and so many friends have struggled with this, and these bills have not been without stakeholders and partners. I cannot thank Belt's case enough for being at my back. Miss Abby and your mother, they were there every time I needed somebody to testify. Yes, please applaud her for telling her story, because that's what we need. We need to quit putting it under the table, and we need to talk about that story. So while I may get this award, I just want you to know that it's all of you talking and doing what's right for mental health, so that we can keep going. Next session, we'll do some more bills. And there's one thing I can tell you, when I draw my line in the sand, that's where it's going to stay. So that's what I did with these two bills. And when they ask me what was important, I always put these at the top, because if you're not taking care of Nevadans, then you shouldn't be there. So thank you so much for this award. I so appreciate it. And thank you to Robin, because you two have been there every time when I am testifying or I'm running a committee. You are there to constantly be a stakeholder, a partner, and a friend. And thank you for all you do for the state of Nevada. So thank you.
Our next NAMI Nevada hero is not present this evening. We're actually going to do the presentation at our conference, our education conference, which will be in Las Vegas, November 1 and 2. Save the date. And I do want to remind everyone about our first ever walk, 4 walks across Nevada. If you have any questions, talk to Lorraine. Lorraine is here somewhere. Can't see her because of the lights. But anyway, so that's October 7th. We have a walk in Elko, a walk in Reno, a walk in Carson, and a walk, oh yeah, that little city, Las Vegas, down there. So we're very excited about that. The second NAMI Nevada hero is Sarah Adler. Sarah has been just doggedly pushing for supportive housing in this state and in the legislature. And while her bill that she wrote and worked so hard on did not get passed, I will tell you, she really educated the people in the legislature about supportive housing and how important that is. And that's an incredible feat for any one person to do. And that created other bills that they presented to fund one-time money for supportive housing. And even in the last session, the special session, where they talked about, I'm going to get the team wrong, it's not the Raiders. What is the team? Oakland A's, thank you. Anyways, in that bill, they set aside money to go to supportive housing. And that is a direct reflection on the work that Sarah Adler did. So please join me in thanking Sarah, even though she's not here, but the Bell's case team will let her know. Yay. And our last NAMI Nevada Hero Award is going to a volunteer. A volunteer who did incredible work at a very young age. And he actually was voluntold for most of his life because his mother was working with NAMI up in Oregon and did tons of work. He passed just about a year ago, very sadly. And they still haven't even determined why he died. It's just an incredibly sad story. But after his death, I heard from so many parts of the state where I didn't even know he was doing work with, you know, the people in Elko and the people in Southern Nevada when it came to hearing voices. And just, he would just slip in quietly and do the work. Zarek worked for NAMI Nevada for a while, and then he actually continued his education. He was working at Reno Behavioral Hospital when he passed, and he affected so many people. And we want to award him our NAMI Nevada Hero Award. We have his mother, Laura, and his father, Phil, to accept the award. Please, Laura and Phil. You okay?
So I want to accept this award and thank NAMI Nevada for recognizing the work that Zarek did. Zarek truly loved NAMI. He started some voluntold when he was about 10 years old in being involved with NAMI. And he truly considered NAMI his family. There was a point in time in his life where his depression and his anxiety were fueling suicidal ideation and suicidality. As a parent, even though I worked in mental health, I didn't know what to do. It's so different when it's your own child. And NAMI was really there to support him. He had a youth group that he went to, he had peer support. I was able to have family support. And I'm happy to say that because of that support that he had, he was able to move past some of his challenges and go on to be able to work full time, which at one point we thought he would never be able to do because his anxiety was so severe. He turned his life around and began to want to give back into the community. And his primary goal was social justice equality and advancements in mental health care and support of individuals living with mental illness. And I'm grateful that NAMI Nevada has recognized the work he did. And I hope that the work he did can serve as an inspiration to others, that anybody can make a difference. We just have to be present, and that people come to understand that just like for Zarek, NAMI is a family. We come together, we support each other, and we look for the brighter days. NAMI inspires hope. And I think Zarek would be incredibly honored by this award. So thank you very much.
High school students with depression are 2 times more likely to drop out of high school than their peers. And as you heard just a moment ago, peer-to-peer support continues to be a vital resource, especially for those walking between the line of dropping out or pushing through. And thanks to NAMI Nevada and NAMI Western Nevada, compassion is just a few digits away.
Never underestimate the power of connection. Peer wellness operators are bringing that power of connection and relatability, while teens have found a safe space thanks to the NAMI Teen Support Line.
The Warm Line is a program that you can call for free for 24 hours, and what we do is we offer peer support. You get a chance to talk to other people who may have had lived experiences or different things that they've been through that you might be able to relate to. And sometimes it's helpful to be able to talk to people who have shared life experiences when you're going through something. You know, maybe today you're not feeling that great, or you're having anxiety or something like that, and you just need someone to talk to. You could be a senior, you don't really have a lot of family, you just want to hear a voice, a friendly voice, and have a conversation. So then the care and context aspect of it is our supervisors, they get reached out to by like different medical facilities or therapists who might have a client or patient who would benefit from the Warm Line, like having someone who can reach out to them and check on them. So it's just an extra support where you know someone's going to call and reach out to you. And sometimes that kind of helps you with your, you know, with your day-to-day life. For me, I've had experience with like a lot of that anxiety, especially through childhood, but I've learned to navigate it through it as I've gotten older. And I think that when I get calls and people are in panic mode or they're going through something, it gives me a chance to kind of test out some of the things that I've learned personally to see if it can help them calm down. And then even when I'm doing that, I'm teaching myself how to be more relaxed and more calming. So I think that it helps both ways because you learn a lot from each other. You know, if you don't have anybody to listen to or to talk to, you don't think about it that way because of your everyday life. You're always talking to people. But people who literally have nobody to talk to, they're only talking to you, that's a big deal. And I think that it's important to give people that outlet.
The Nevada Teen Support Text Line is available 365 days a year. We are open from noon to midnight every single day, and we don't take a day off because mental health doesn't either. I think there's a couple of reasons that the youth feel comfortable texting into us. I think one of the biggest reasons is there's a bit of anonymity with talking to us. So they can really be able to be open and express what they're really feeling without it being like attached to them. And I think that just knowing that somebody who's been there and gotten out on the other side and is here to tell the story and here to reach their hand out and pull you up is like a huge relief. We don't like go running back and tell anybody anything, you know, so it's a safe place for them. And I get told by the youth all the time, thank you, you made my day so much better. Thank you, that really helps. I feel heard today. By having this free service available to all youth in Nevada, it's a huge step in the right direction for our mental health. You know, because the youth are our future, and we need to take care of them. We do have a lot of repeat texters, and just last month alone, we did over 6,000 texts total. To be able to hear just you helped me, or thank you for listening. You're the only person who's listened. That gives me so much gratitude. It makes me feel so good. That makes my self-esteem through the roof. I could do nothing good for the rest of my life, and this would be enough, to be honest with you.
NAMI continues to provide the vital mental health resources our community needs, judgment-free, through the Teen Support Line, Nevada Caring Contacts, and the NAMI Nevada Warm Line. The power of connection.
That is another reason why, if you want to purchase more raffle tickets, tonight's proceeds are going back to fund our warm line. Keep that teen text line available. And you've been hearing throughout the night that importance of contact, connection. An unusual but very personal fact that I'm going to share with you right now. In Nevada, 657 lives were lost to suicide, and 107,000 adults had suicidal thoughts this past year. Many of you in this room know this statistic too well. Of the 657, my daughter is one of them. Mental health impacted my life once again when I married my husband 15 years ago. His children had recently been removed from their biological mother due to a meth addiction. Their mother's addiction deeply affected his oldest daughter, Katie. And no matter how much we thought that we could love the pain and the trauma away, Katie's mental health remained a daily challenge. Shortly after gaining custody of both of the girls, we were faced with Katie's diagnosis of manic depressive disorder. When she was on a high, she was the happiest, but the lows brought destructive behavior. Our sweet and beautiful Katie would jump from one erratic decision to the next. And at 18, she graduated and abruptly moved out. And 6 months later, she joined the Marines. And we held our breath, hoping for a positive change. When she returned home from boot camp, we saw a whole new side of Katie. She was proud of her achievements, and we were beyond ecstatic for her. We believed that perhaps she could find a way to manage her condition, and maybe that love could actually help her, that unconditional love. However, over the next 3 years, we experienced the highs and the lows once again. She had to stay in a mental health facility, 2 marriages, and rapidly growing family with 3 small children of her own. We clung to the hope that she was managing her medications. Motherhood and marriage seemed to have allowed her to break away from her troubled past, and she expressed to us on numerous occasions how happy she was where she was in her life. And she loved her husband and her children with such vigor. But when the lows came, mental health can be an unforgivable struggle. And unfortunately, on August 10th of 2018, the lows, 107,000 adults had suicidal thoughts. And 107,000 adults had suicidal thoughts. And unfortunately, on August 10th of 2018, the lows, 107,000 adults had suicidal thoughts. And unfortunately, on August 10th of 2018, the lows
The lows were simply too much for Katie to handle. She took her life on the day of her son's first birthday. We loved Katie so much, and we miss her every day. And it is why we will continue to fight for her and for so many others. We need to talk about trauma. We need to talk about those who are struggling, and we need to think outside the box. We need to have resources available, and we need to have these conversations with children at a young age. Our next guests are certainly doing exactly what my family is looking for. We are so honored to have them with us tonight to share their message that everyone struggles with something, and it is not shameful to ask for help. Please welcome Emmy-nominated late-night comedy writer for The Tonight Show with Jay Leno and The Tonight Show starring Jimmy Fallon, Michael Jan, along with Michelle Jordan, Michael's wife, writing partner, and a gold medal winning bodybuilder. Please give Michael and Michelle a very warm Reno welcome.
Are we on? Are we on? Yeah.
Am I on? Yeah, it'd be terrible if Michelle was the only one who got to talk tonight.
You wouldn't let that happen.
No.
Thank you so much for having us here this evening. We're truly honored to be here with you all tonight.
Thank you.
So in about 20 minutes, we're going to show you a short animated film about mental health.
Wait. Our film is 9 minutes long. We're going to make them sit through 20 minutes of previews and coming attractions.
No previews, but we are going to tell you some stories. We're going to tell you 3 stories. A personal story,
A showbiz story.
and a story about you and the amazing thing that all of you have in common with mosquitoes.
And why that's a good thing.
Okay, let's start with the personal stuff first.
Okay. The first time I ever heard the word NAMI, I was wearing socks and shoes, no pants, no undies. That's how panicked I was, how rattled I was trying to get dressed in the middle of the night, 100 miles an hour, after getting the scariest phone call of my life, a 3 a.m. FaceTime call from my then 27-year-old son, Max.
He almost didn't answer the phone. He was like, I don't really want to talk to Max at 3 in the morning. And middle of the night phone calls are rarely good. So I said, I really think you should answer that.
He was wearing a baseball cap. I remember because he was spinning it around on his head as he talked to me. He said, Dad, I need to know, am I crazy? I died in 2010. My ex-girlfriend has my ashes and the government is tracking their whereabouts. Am I crazy? I said, yes, Max, that's crazy. You're scaring me. What's going on? He said, gotta go. Hung up.
So I watched Mike leap out of bed and frantically try and get dressed. And I said, what are you doing? Where are you going to go? Are you going to go tackle him?
I did not have a plan.
I said, we need to call NAMI.
I was like, who's NAMI? I Googled NAMI. I saw a hotline number. I dialed it. One of those moments you know you'll never forget in your life, because I couldn't believe a human being answered the phone in the middle of the night. I remember her saying, this is not a problem you're going to solve tonight. You're in for a long ride. And she recommended a book called I'm Not Sick, I Don't Need Help.
I think we both read the entire book that night.
So 5 sleepless hours later, my phone lit up, Burbank Police. I answered. A male voice said, is this Michael Jan? I said, yes. He said, are you the father of Maxwell Jan? I said, yes. I'm bracing for the worst news imaginable. He said, he's okay. He's in the back of my squad car. And can I ask you a question? Has he been acting strange lately? Well, I recounted about 1% of Max's recent strangeness, and he cut me off. He said, I've heard enough. I'm taking him into the psych ward on a 5150. He told me he found Max standing in the middle of an intersection, half naked, holding a Bible and directing traffic. In fact, Max stopped the cop car.
When I heard that middle of the night FaceTime call with Max, I knew that the trajectory of our lives had just changed forever. I'm no stranger to mental health struggles. I have my own son about the same age who has ADHD and grew up with a mood disorder. That's how I knew about NAMI to begin with. And I've had my own struggles. By the time Mike and I met about 13 years ago, I'd gotten myself mostly together, navigating my own depression, anxiety, and substance abuse issues, which landed me in some really hard situations.
Which is a whole nother speech.
Right, so
Okay.
back to Max.
Okay, so 2 psych wards, 2 inpatient facilities, 1 outpatient facility, a sober living home, a month in jail, back to the sober living home, and a great therapist later. I'm happy to report Max is doing much better today. When we visited him in the psych ward that very first day, he truly believed he was God. And today, thanks to meds and therapy, we've got him all the way down to St. Peter. It's much better.
The truth is, Max was diagnosed with THC-induced psychosis and bipolar 1. And it's been tough. Thankfully, he is doing better right now. He's almost 2 years sober. He's working. He's living on his own. But a few months ago, he had another major manic episode that was really scary. Thankfully, he's learning how to deal with it. We're still learning how to deal with it.
Yeah, to say it's been a roller coaster would be a disservice to roller coasters everywhere. Roller coasters let you get off after 20 minutes.
So early on, when we were first learning to ride this roller coaster, someone suggested that we go to an Al-Anon meeting.
I remember walking into my first Al-Anon meeting thinking, wait till these people hear what happened to me. You get in there and you hear so many stories being told by people who are clearly great parents, the kind of people you see coaching Little League and sitting through school plays and dance recitals. This happens to so many people. And that's when we realized how prevalent this is.
When Max had his first breakdown, we had already started making the short film Bug Therapy. And you might wonder if his crisis caused us to pause the project, maybe not make the film.
Not for 1 second.
It actually gave it so much more meaning. We saw firsthand how helpful a message like this could be.
So Michelle had an idea. She said, instead of stopping, what if we add a new character? We create a new bug.
In Max's honor.
In Max's honor, a praying mantis who doesn't pray because she thinks she is God. Was that nice?
Well, this might sound strange, but I've always felt that I could relate to Max's struggles, sometimes more than I like to admit. I get his conspiracy obsessions, his seeing signs and correlations where there really aren't any. And when we visited him in the psych ward and he was claiming to be God, part of me was like, maybe he is. How do we know he's not?
He's not.
Are you sure?
Yeah, I know, because God never asks me for money. That's how I tell the two apart. There's clearly 2 different people.
So in addition to adding the new character, we infused all of our other characters with our own personal experience, and we made NAMI a way bigger part of the film. There's a great quote on our website from NAMI California's CEO, Jessica Cruz, that we know helped us get the amazing cast that we did.
She said, your film is literally our mission statement, to fight the stigma and change the conversation about mental health. This could help so many people.
So we knew we had to keep going, which is the perfect segue into the showbiz story to tell you how it happened.
Okay. You hear a lot about showbiz, that it's all about money and everyone in showbiz is shallow and superficial. Well, I'm here to tell you that's true.
But this subject matter has an almost magical ability to bring people together. So we had a different experience.
The best way to tell the story is to tell you why we started, like why we made this film to begin with. The answer is to entertain, no other reason.
That's how it started.
Yeah, but we're comedy writers. This whole thing started with a one line. It's a story about a mosquito who faints at the sight of blood. And her name is Citronella. She just can't get a break. So we wrote a script called Citronella, and it turned out really funny, and it got us meetings all over Hollywood.
DreamWorks, Sony, Paramount, Fox.
Every meeting started the exact same. They'd offer us bottled water.
Would you like still or sparkling?
I think sparkly today.
Okay.
They'd sit us down and we would chat about Citronella, the mosquito who faints at the sight of blood. And then they'd say,
That's hilarious. Your script was great. What else you got?
no one wanted to make a movie about a mosquito.
Everybody hates mosquitoes.
And I get it. They're literally the least popular creature on earth. There was a Gallup poll recently, and mosquitoes actually finished below personal injury lawyers, right at the bottom,
So why are we making a movie about a mosquito?
because they have an amazing redeeming quality that I think everyone in this room has.
Which we'll get to in just a minute. So when we hit a wall with the studios, someone suggested that we should make a proof of concept to help get the feature film made.
That would be a few seconds of Citronella flying around looking cute and saying funny things so that you could get an idea that, oh, this could be a movie.
Right, but I didn't want to do that. If we were going to go through the time and effort and money to actually make something, I wanted to at least make an actual short film. So, a story with a beginning, a middle, and an end, something that we could maybe submit to film festivals. Remember the short film that came on before the movie Ice Age? The squirrel desperately trying to get that acorn? I wanted something like that, something that spoke to the essence of our bigger film.
And Michelle had an idea. I sometimes have ideas, but apparently she has all the good ones. We already had a character, a pill bug named Dr. Pill. And Michelle wondered,
What if the short film is about Citronella trying to get up the nerve to go to group therapy for the first time?
bug therapy.
That's when it all started to click. Now we were directly on the topic of mental health. So I started observing bugs. And if you watch them, they're all really neurotic. Like, why do flies constantly wash their hands and their faces and then keep landing on dog poop?
Why do dragonfly couples fly around on top of each other? Are they that codependent?
And moths flying right into the flame even though they keep getting burned.
Yeah, who would do that, Michelle?
Well, the embarrassing thing is that I can relate to so much of it. We have a stick bug character who suffers from depression. He feels like no one sees him. I have felt that way most of my life. And a leaf bug who physically trembles with anxiety, just like I do. They're my favorite characters because depression and anxiety have always been my biggest issues.
Luckily, I have no issues. We're good.
Compulsive lying?
Compulsive lying, that's right. I've been diagnosed ADHD.
And
Michelle says I have certain OCD qualities.
they're qualities.
They're qualities. How can they be bad?
And in the short film, we play the dysfunctional codependent dragonfly couple.
Can you just get off me?
But I love you.
But I can't breathe.
Don't worry, we're both in therapy.
With the same therapist.
Hi, Katie.
Katie David, Austin, Texas.
All right, back to the showbiz story.
Okay, so we wrote a new script, a short film script called Bug Therapy, and then we looked at each other.
Now what? We told you that the studios weren't helping us. But
But
when we started to reach out to individual people about making the short film, and we told them the subject matter and NAMI's endorsement, one at a time, people started to jump on board, and we were able to assemble a ridiculously cool team.
it started with our director, Jason Reisig. He was an animator for DreamWorks. He worked on Shrek and Kung Fu Panda, and he had just co-directed the movie Smallfoot, and he agreed to be our director. That was huge.
And then our cast, Dr. Phil, Megan Trainor, Sterling K. Brown, Jay Leno, Tom Green.
Us.
Us.
How did we get us?
I don't know.
Anyway, these people,
Those people.
yeah, those people, not us, but those people make millions of dollars for their time. And they all did bug therapy for like nothing.
They all jumped on board because they believed in the message of our film, that everyone struggles with something, and there's no shame in asking for help.
It takes more than actors, though, to make a movie, an animated movie. So many animators. You're going to see when you have to sit through the credits at the end of ours. So many people work on an animated film with like no money. Because of the subject matter, we were able to assemble a team of artists from all over the world.
We had character designers in South Korea and Japan. We had an incredible composer in London.
We were having Zoom meetings at our dining room table for a year at 2 a.m. that spanned the globe.
We were making a movie.
Yep.
But animation costs money. And at this point, we didn't know how we were going to pay for it.
A great animation studio in India called 88 Pictures offered to do the animation for us.
But the beautiful 3D animation that you're about to see cost about $1,000 per second.
Per second?
How are we going to pay for that?
Well, here's how we did it. To finance bug therapy, Michelle and I relied on family and friends.
And then we quickly ran out of family and friends.
So then to finance bug therapy, we relied on our life savings.
Which is both admirable and arguably stupid.
Yeah. And then, out of the blue, Epic, the video game giant, swooped in, told our studio in India, tell Mike and Michelle to apply for an Epic mega grant because the answer is yes. They loved the subject matter. And they awarded us just enough money to finish the film you're about to see.
And when you finish a film, you need publicity. So we reached out to Jay Leno to get a quote for the announcement of our film in the trades.
So I wrote for Jay for 23 years. So I was able to call him up and ask him, Jay, can you give us a quote about why you care about this cause? Why you did this? He said, oh no, people don't want to hear a comedian talk about a cause. They're going to hate me. They're going to hate you. They're going to hate everybody. I said, all right, is there anything you can say about it? He said, what bug did I play again? I said, you played the fly, the OCD fly who can't stop washing his hands. Oh yeah, okay. How about this? I play an OCD fly who can't stop washing his hands, and it's based on an actual fly, so it's a true story.
So we had our quote, we had a finished short film, we rewrote the entire feature film to be all about mental health.
And that's where we are right now. We're doing everything in our power to make bug therapy into a feature film so you can all see it.
Or a series.
Yep, or even an episode 2, because this is just the beginning. It's an ongoing story of Citronella getting her head around therapy.
And we want to get it in front of as many people as possible because it's just so important.
So enough about showbiz.
All right, enough about showbiz. We promised a story about you. Yeah. Everyone in this room has one thing in common. All of you, for a variety of reasons, have taken on an opponent that is way bigger than you.
The best way I can describe this opponent is with a joke that I think this room will appreciate. Flat Earth Fred thinks the Earth is flat. One day, Flat Earth Fred dies in a car crash, finds himself at the pearly gates. When he gets up to the front of the line, a bell rings, and St. Peter says, congratulations, you're our 1,000th customer today, and for that, you've won a prize. You get to ask God one question. Flat Earth Fred is stoked. They bring him in to meet God. God's like, how you doing, Fred? Fred says, here's my question. Is the earth flat or is it round? And God says, the answer is round. I'm sorry, Fred. Fred is devastated. He looks up and says, oh no, this conspiracy goes even higher than I thought.
But that's what it's like sometimes. And how do you argue with that?
Hence that book title, I'm Not Sick, I Don't Need Help.
How can you possibly defeat that? It's easy to think you can't win. The mental health crisis is just getting worse. The stigma is too big. But I assure you, you can win. In fact, this is where mosquitoes come in.
Finally. Okay. In addition to being the least popular creature on Earth, mosquitoes might be the bravest creatures on Earth. They try and sneak up on someone 1,000,000 times bigger than them, who can hear them coming, see them coming, and who loves to kill them. And yet they still do it. Why? Why would anyone take on an opponent 1,000,000 times bigger than them?
Did you know that only female mosquitoes bite? It's true.
Don't take out your phones and Google it. Trust me. This is the one thing we're experts on. Male mosquitoes do not bite.
A female mosquito bites one time in her life. And do you know why? Because she has to have a family. A female mosquito needs 1 drop of blood in order to produce eggs.
They literally can't have a family unless they somehow accomplish this seemingly impossible task.
In the feature-length version of Bug Therapy, there's a moment when Citronella laments to her coach, "Why does it have to be blood? Why not red Gatorade? Why not marinara? Maybe a nice Chianti?" And her coach says, "I don't know, Citronella. Maybe because it's from the heart."
And that from the heart mentality makes mosquitoes relentless, just like everyone in this room.
You do it because you have to. You do it out of love. You do it for our broader family. And you are winning because of your relentless dedication to this cause.
Helping people who are struggling with mental illness.
Helping family members who are shell-shocked and don't have a clue what to do or who to turn to.
The only reason my son is alive today is because of the help we received from great people in this field. Like
Psychiatrists,
therapists,
social workers,
inpatient facilities,
outpatient facilities,
insurance specialists,
family members,
ER workers,
and police officers.
like the ones who gently coaxed my possibly dangerous son into the back of their squad car that night.
So thank you, NAMI, for spearheading this cause.
I told you the first time I saw the word NAMI that night, I was trying to get dressed. I looked at the name, the National Alliance on Mental Illness, and I thought to myself, what a terrible name. Why wouldn't you call yourselves the National Alliance on Mental Health? Isn't that more appealing?
Yeah, but that's the stigma right there. Why are we afraid to talk about an illness? Is the American Cancer Society afraid to say the word cancer?
No.
No.
So thank you, NAMI, and thank you all for being a little bit like mosquitoes.
Thank you for taking on something 1,000,000 times bigger than you.
We will win.
Because we're fueled by love.
And if movies have taught us one thing, it's that love always wins.
We hope you enjoy the film.
We'll have a Q&A session afterwards if you're
If
still
you're
here.
still here.
Bug therapy?
I need to breathe.
I'm here now.
Oh, boy, that feels good. You want to get that sanitizer.
I love that we're so
We can
close.
separate from
I
time to
grind
time.
my own beans. Oh, you kidding?
Mortals. Ugh.
Yeah.
Thanks for coming. Y'all ready to share your deepest, darkest secrets?
Nope. Okay.
Hey, welcome to the group. I'm Dr. Pill.
Oh, I'm not in the group. I'm not crazy. But if you are
Yeah, ma'am, we try not to use the word
Crazy? Crazy about coffee.
Really?
Did I tell you I'm addicted to coffee? I love it, but it makes me so jumpy.
Yeah, don't worry, he'll be back. Now, let's all join hands and you can tell us why you're here.
I'm back. Got my coffee.
I don't care.
Got a refill. Swung by Starbucks. They were busy. Went to Pete's. Went to Phil's. Then I chose Coffee Bean. Settled on Coffee Bean.
No, not here. That's not good. I don't hold hands.
Here we go.
You don't know where these hands have been, really. You know.
Yeah, I think we do.
Ew.
Let's skip the hand thing. Tell us why you're here.
No, me? No, I'm fine. No, I don't have a problem.
It's okay. We're all here to support each other.
Get off of me.
But I love you.
And I love spending time with you, but I can't breathe.
We'll get to your couple's issues in a minute. I'd like
What? We don't have couples issues. Did you tell him we have couples issues?
No, I didn't tell him anything. I might have sent one email.
You tell him right now we do not have couples issues.
Okay. Can I text him?
Where'd you guys meet? Let me guess. Starbucks, Coffee Bean, Pete's, Dunkin' Donuts. The other
I'd
Starbucks.
really like to hear from our new member.
Me? Oh,
What'd you order?
your
Cappuccino, espresso, latte, double latte, cafe au lait, americano, macchiato, piccolo latte.
You know, you're really kind of clean. You know what I'm saying? Maybe you should talk to somebody. I didn't realize there were two of you. Oh, come on. I got a clean nose. I just cleaned my ears. Somebody give me a Q-tip. I know you're not.
Come on, what really brought you here? You can tell us.
No, you see, what happened was there was a spider and I tripped. And you know what? Your group looks so full. I don't want to take up anyone's time.
Yeah, I get all that.
I'm good. Ask her over there. Are you praying? Is that what you're doing?
I am God. People should be praying to me, and they don't. That's my problem.
For the love of God, woman, this is not about you.
Everything's about me.
Let me get this right. You're a praying mantis, but you don't pray. I see. Oh, look, a crow.
Oh my God!
Ah, they're praying now, aren't you? Yeah.
Hey, what is our only rule?
No laughing.
I'm out.
How's this girl ever going to feel safe if she's afraid you're just going to laugh at her?
Ew. What's going on there? What is that?
He would be afraid of spiders.
Has anyone told him? He says, shh.
Like I said, no problem's too weird.
That's kind of too weird. Yeah.
It's okay to not be okay. This group is about acceptance.
Right.
Who's that?
Like you guys accepted me.
Who said that? Oh, look, I see him. There he is. There he is. The stick. Look at the stick. Eh? See, right next to the leaf. Right over. Oh, I think he's there.
It's like I'm not even here, you know? Did anybody even address me? No? Anyway.
You are kind of invisible, and your little pet leaf doesn't help.
Well, I see you, Stick Bug, and I'm glad you're here. And how's he doing?
He's still afraid of autumn.
When all the leaves die.
Holy Oh, that was scary. Is everyone okay?
Stupid crow. I spilled my coffee.
Are you okay?
Yeah, I had your back. I had your covered.
Are you okay?
That was scary, all right. Wow, I thought you guys were on it.
He's circling back. We need to get out of here now. The good news is we're not lunch.
Wait.
Sorry, lady. Out of time.
My name is Citronella.
And?
And, my problem, my not very big problem is,
No judgment. Safe space. Just spit it out.
well, I'm a mosquito. And I faint at the sight of blood. Oh, it's not that funny though, because it's a safety issue. Oh, how's that for a safe space? Who's laughing now? It's me. Wait, is that blood? Oh, it happened again.
I'm back. Got my coffee. Wait, you're a mosquito and you faint at the sight of blood?
Yeah. Uh-oh.
Yes, Citronella, if you want to join the group, I think a spot just opened up.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you.
Any questions?
Anybody got any questions? Usually there's the first question, then there's a bunch. Okay, I'll tell you something. If anybody's worried about the grasshopper who died at the end, he didn't die. The bird is bulimic.
And he ends up in the group with them.
He's back. He's back in the group, and so is the bird.
Yes.
My
Great
son
question.
loves it. My son loves the praying mantis character, and my son helped design, our son helped design the logo. If you notice the logo, when you look at Bug Therapy, if you can see it anywhere, it's got kind of a crazy typeface to it, like a ransom note might have.
Yeah.
He came up with that idea, and the director said, "We're putting a red dot of blood at the end of it, and we're good." So, yes, he likes
Yeah,
it.
Max is really good with. I'm always really impressed with him how he's able to talk about his experience, like especially with the psychosis and everything, and when he's in a manic phase, like kind of he can articulate his thought process when he's going through that, and it's really interesting, and he's pretty open with it, and so it's good.
Yep. Not that I know of.
I don't know that it's inspired other people to start making films. We were just at NAMICon and watched another really great film about, it was a documentary on a guy's bipolar journey, which
A
is
serious documentary. A guy named Dara,
Dara,
his last
yeah.
name. But that's a great new movie explaining bipolar. I was riveted because
It was
my
very
son-
similar to
Yeah.
our son's journey with it.
Yeah. Any other questions? It's okay if there's no questions. Sometimes there are. Yes.
It's an uphill battle for sure.
Yeah, we call ourselves an involuntary nonprofit.
Yeah, I mean, we really, fund a lot of this out of our, by ourselves. And it's a labor of love, I guess you could say. We are constantly trying to move the ball forward. We're talking with a producer right now, fingers crossed. Talk is talk. Until you see action, you don't really know.
But he seems to love it, so it might be a movie.
Yeah, so it's just a never give up kind of thing. You just got to keep trying.
Yep. I saw another hand go up. We've talked to a few, and that's a possibility. For us, it's a fine line to not call it educational because, like I always joke that if Silver Linings Playbook was called Bradley Learns to Deal with His Bipolar, no one would have gone to the movie. That's what the movie's about, but it's entertainment, and that's what Bug Therapy is. So,
But we always have people say, I want this in my classroom. I want to show it to my students. And we always say
We would love
yes.
it.
We always let people show it. And we would absolutely love to get this into schools. We've talked to a few people trying to make that happen. It's just, we're comedy writers. We don't necessarily know how to make that happen, So if anyone has any contacts, we're happy to move that forward.
What a lot of people have said, like the CEO of NAMI California said, this should be in schools because it gets kids talking. Like you can talk about therapy. It's a completely normal thing eventually if you talk about it.
Right. We really want this to be an icebreaker, just to get people talking about what's bugging them.
Yep.
Right.
You had your hand up. I'm not a big fan of weed myself. That was the warning sign times 100.
So I would also say he had he had been, in my opinion, he had had delusions of grandeur for several years leading up to this. And then he just started smoking more and more and more weed, and he was staying up all night. And there's a lot of different factors that contributed to the initial psychotic break, but the main ones were weed, and there was like, who knows what the real underlying cause was? I don't know, but
if I could go back in time, I would intervene much sooner, because something was not right.
Yeah.
When you have someone that smart underachieving, there's often an underlying problem, and thinking they're going to outgrow it isn't necessarily true. So I always say we're not the experts, we're the patients.
Yeah.
So I don't want to say too much about that.
Yeah.
Any other questions?
Any other questions?
I have a question.
Oh, yeah, over here.
Oh.
So the feature film has so many more characters, so many more bugs with so many more problems. So yeah. Send us an email. Go to bugtherapy.film, our website, and you can send us an email through the website.
Yeah. We knew that when we wrote the feature film that we're trying to make, that would have to be a much bigger, more fun action story. It couldn't be 2 hours of bugs sitting around in a circle talking, right? So that's what we wrote, a big action comedy.
Yeah.
And there's lots of bugs.
So Citronella basically goes from complete denial, not wanting to embrace therapy, trying to deny she has a problem and fix it in a way that's not going to work, right? To finally coming full circle and embracing therapy and embracing all the bugs in the group. And
so, and I'll say this, we aired the film on YouTube for free for all the month of May, which is Mental Health Awareness Month. We got 500,000 views in 1 month. And 95% of the comments were really positive. Some people had a problem with the fact that they laugh at her.
Right.
And they said, how could you do that? Well, I would never go to therapy. People are going to laugh at me.
Yeah.
Here's what I have to say about that. My friends laugh at me regularly. They don't laugh with me. They laugh at me. And her problem is funny. Sorry, it's funny. But what's really cool to us is she is not fragile. Her biggest fear is to be laughed at. That's called shame. After she's laughed at, she smiles for the first time in the movie.
It's probably my favorite part of the film is that after she's laughed at, the grasshopper comes back and laughs at her, and he says, "You faint at the sight of blood." And she stands there very dignified, confident, and says, "Yeah," like she accepts herself. She's like, "Yes, this is me."
Yep. Still standing, not fragile. Your friends laugh at you. She becomes friends with everybody in the group.
And now she has a group.
She becomes the leader of the group.
Yeah.
You can feel it at the end of this short that she now has a community, acceptance. She's going to be fine. Yeah. So the only other question I have is, if there's still like 4 pieces of chocolate cake on my table, can I have them? Is that okay?
Yes.
Okay. Well, thank you all so much
Thank
for
you
watching.
so much.
So grateful.
Really appreciate it.
Thank you.
One more time for Michael and Michelle. Thank you so much for sharing your vision with us. Absolutely. There is no shame in asking for help. And I know that each and every one of you, everyone in here in this room, we're all struggling with something. We're all wondering, you didn't know we were struggling with, we had to move the program around. Robin and I stressing, you did not know that. It's because we go to therapy. We talk to each other. We lean on each other. That's the joy of all of this. Again, thank you both so much for being here. We hope you enjoy your time here in Northern Nevada, and we wish you the very best of luck. And just me as a parent who has gone through what I have been through, I do believe that it starts at a young age. We need to be talking about this with our kids. We need to have those conversations. I did not know that my brother had fetal alcohol syndrome until I was in college. I didn't understand. I didn't know. It was not told to me. So any way that we can continue these conversations, whatever that looks like, I say yes to that. And with that being said, we're going to one little final video update for you this evening, and a reminder to you that 1 in 6 U.S. youth ages 6 to 17 do experience a mental health disorder each year. And knowledge is power. Continued advocacy to improve mental health care in Nevada is what we can do. We can provide better services. There are numerous advocates who are working daily to improve care, resources, and education across the state of Nevada. You've heard from many of them here tonight, and we deeply, deeply appreciate the work of our advocates. And we hope that tonight has given you the drive to thrive and to motivate and to become an advocate yourself. And if you need a little help, here it is.
NAMI is changing the way the world sees mental illness through advocacy. NAMI advocates continue to fight for a life of quality and dignity for those living with a mental health condition by providing education, emotional support, and resources for families.
NAMI Nevada supports the expansion of the current Nevada Health Services Corps, which is a student loan repayment program. NAMI is supporting the expansion of that program to focus more on behavioral health professions. So we will be able to recruit and retain professionals and help them pay their student loans with the hope that they'll stay and work in our state for a long period of time.
I love the Advocacy Academy. We started that in the very first few months that I was doing this job with NAMI Nevada. We wanted to be able to build a team of people that could go in front of anyone or do whatever they felt comfortable doing to advocate for mental health and the things that they needed done for their family. We work to remove all medication barriers for everyone. It should be between the doctor and the patient. And we continue to try to change Medicaid and other insurance providers to make sure that the straightest line between the medication that works and the individual is what is used. People can go through almost 2 years of step therapy trying medication after medication. That's no way to live, wasting 2 years of your life. So we're working toward on Medicaid that you try one. And if that doesn't work, you get to go with the one the doctor is recommending.
NAMI Nevada is also focused on supporting the development of a workforce development center where we will start introducing high school students to the behavioral health field with the hope that they will pursue careers in the behavioral health field. And we feel this is another way to increase our workforce in the state and increase access to the care that our residents deserve.
Well, I will tell you the number one call we get on our helpline is housing. And it leads to stability. When you have a roof over your head and you have food in your stomach, you can pay attention to your mental health.
I think it's the general awareness that people have now about mental health and addiction. Yes, we still have stigma surrounding mental health and addiction, but I don't think it's what it is. It was 25 years ago.
So I think the biggest change is when I talk to youth, when I go into the colleges and the high schools, that people are so much more willing to talk about their issues. And the people around them are willing to accept those issues and do what they need to accommodate for them. We are a 501c3, so giving us money helps us continue to advocate. Write your letters. Support candidates that are supporting evidence-based mental health policies. NAMI Nevada was made up of a bunch of NAMI mommies who sat around the breakfast table and said, we want more help for our children. And we continue that mission by reaching out to the regular people on the street and getting them to advocate for what's good for their families.
Mental illness can affect persons of any age. Nevadans must continue to advocate for better mental health care so that everyone can get access to the vital resources they need. You too can be an advocate by contacting your local legislative officials. Let them know that mental health care matters to you. By working together, we can continue to grow the resources we need in Nevada to provide the very best in mental health care.
I wanted to give a little shout out. I don't even know if Steve, you know this right now, but the Nevada Hospital Association most recently started a rural grant that is truly spectacular for this state. Going back to what Steve had mentioned, there are opportunities for individuals in rural communities now who maybe wanted to further their education. Maybe they wanted to get into the mental health practices or other behavioral health practices throughout the state. And now there's grants that are allowing them, paying for their transportation, paying for childcare, paying for books, paying for the things that were usually putting people on the back burner of completing their degrees, and also allowing our state to grow its mental health resources. So I know, Steve, you were such a big proponent of this, and I'm so excited that this is now out and this grant is available to our state. So this is just one of the many, many grants coming our way as we continue to fight for more resources. I'm going to say thank you all so very much. I appreciate the safety and comfort of sharing my family story with you. And I believe each and every one of you in this room, you are making a difference. We need to continue to work together. It is no longer a subject that's in the closet. It is here. It is us that will make the difference. It is the parents that love their children no matter what, and we will continue to fight. And although my Katie is not here, I will fight for your Katie, and I will make sure that your children will live a life with care in this community and in this state with more mental health resources. So thank you all so very much. And with that being said, let's have some final words from Robin Reedy.
So did you all have fun tonight? So I need a promise from you, if you had fun tonight, that you'll show up next year, because this is the first of what's going to become an annual event. So will you show up next year? And because I just keep asking for more, because that's how we've grown NAMI Nevada, will you bring someone that isn't here tonight? So NAMI Nevada, we work, there's so many other things that we do that we haven't even had time to bring up. You know, we have classes, we have support groups across the state, and all of this is at no cost to the people who use them. And I think your film would be great as part of the Ending the Silence that we do throughout the state and the schools in bringing that forward. So we're really trying to grow to bring more services. We help people in this state navigate services. It is so important. And I do not do this alone. You know, this would not have happened tonight without the team, my team, but also the team from Western Nevada. So I would like the NAMI Nevada team, and if you've done work for us, whether you're paid or volunteered, the NAMI Nevada team and the Western Nevada team, to stand up so we can thank them. We do not accomplish what we accomplish alone. You know, I always say one person can accomplish a lot. But when you get everyone else behind you, that's when we really accomplish it. One of the things the Western NAMI Nevada team did was our centerpieces. So if everyone gets some exercise and looks under your chair, if you have the sticker under your chair, you get to take home that centerpiece. And if the chair's unoccupied, just keep looking. The person that finds it gets the centerpiece. I will tell you, I'm not taking home the centerpieces. We've lifted those enough. So So those were generously donated pieces from both the Barry Smith household, who used to work at Starbucks, and then someone who donated the other materials there. So if there's a mental health sticker under the chair, it's yours. We will be having our raffles listed. So if you got tickets, you can carry your tickets to the raffles. That got everyone some exercise. Everyone's gotten theirs, right? Again, a big thank you to Michael and Michelle. Thank you. Thank you for tolerating the lack of communication, the cancellations, the snow, and everything else. Very much appreciated. But we're going to talk some more about this. It's important. NAMI Nevada is here to advocate, educate, and support people who live with mental health conditions and the families that love them. Almost everyone who works with, volunteers for, or puts any effort in has some kind of lived experience. And that lived experience is what pushes us to do what we do. But we will not get rid of stigma or prejudice until we get people who are unfamiliar with mental health conditions and have them help push for the policies that we need. We can't expect someone without a leg to run a marathon. Why do we expect other people who have issues with mental health to be able to function the same way everyone else does? And opposite that, there are so many people out there who live with mental health conditions and you don't even know about. We are all on a continuum of mental health, and we can be anywhere on that continuum at any point in our lives. And I want everyone to be able to talk about mental health the way we talk about a cold. And until we do that, we will not be making effective change. Thank you for coming tonight. Thank you for coming a year from now. And thank you for all the work that you do. I appreciate it.
Yes, thank you all so very much for being here this evening. I wanted to say a very special thank you to our streamed audience. If you head to the NAMI Nevada Facebook page after tonight, if you would like to share what you saw on your social media platforms, we would greatly appreciate it. We want as many people to see what we experienced here tonight and to continue to fight for those vital resources. Thank you all so much for being here. Visit NAMINV.org to learn more. Have a wonderful and safe evening. And thank you again to the Grand Sierra Resort.